Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I want to list off some of the cards that I really dislike and I think are the most destructive ones for Hearthstone out of the most recent expansion, the Journey to Un'Goro. I basically come up with 8 cards I really dislike, and I'm going to order them, and the last one's going to be the one I dislike the most. And you can probably guess which one that is already, but let's kick it off. So, 8th on my list of 8 cards is Meteor. So I think the card is pretty destructive to the game, but mages and problematic classes have received overpowered cards in the past. So yeah, the problem with Meteor is mage usually had the best removal in the game, but it was kind of polarized. It was either a very good board clear or a very good single target removal. And there are very few cards that actually did both things very well, save for having a lot of spell damage. And, the idea was if you wanted to do that, then you just get a bunch of spell damage. Well, Meteor just kind of does both those things. Like, why would you run Polymorph when you can run Meteor? Yes, I know Silence Effect, but let's get real. Why would you run Flame Strike when you can play Meteor? It's just like as good as both the best single target removal and the best AoE clears. And yeah, okay, some classes who need a lot of help get really broken ass cards, and this is a really broken ass card. But the thing is, Mage didn't really need that much help. And in Arena, it sure as hell didn't need very much help at all, yet it got Meteor. And yes, it's an epic card, but right now in Arena, getting epic quality cards is not that rare, and getting spells which have an occurrence boost into those epic quality selections with the expansion bonus, because it's the most recent expansion, it's actually not that rare at all. There's people who have 4 Meteors in their deck, or 3 Meteors. I've even had a few decks with 2 Meteors. I mean, it actually happens a lot, so it's a problem. Then I have Shimmering Tempest. It's kind of like a light card. You discover a random spell. But the problem is the nature of mage spells are just so insane. And when you just get a random mage spell, you base even just one. You go into a game mode where you no longer play around anything. And I've ranted on this subject a lot, so I'm not going to give you guys the full length here. But, if you're a really good player and your opponent plays Shimmering Tempest, and then they get a random mage spell, it's pretty hard to exclude some things. I mean, yeah, if he's had it the whole game and now you're at 10 mana and it's the only card, maybe it's Pyroblast, or maybe it's a super shitty spell, but you should probably play around Pyroblast. So there's a little bit of that, but mage spells often can discover other mage spells or multiply with Kabbalah's Tome, and it literally goes off. This stuff has got to stop. And Shimmering Tempest is also an elemental, which makes it, in Arena it's a bit of a problem because mage elementals are pretty good and they get very easy synergy from cards that are already very good that also kind of, make the skill requirement for succeeding in Arena a little bit lower. The card sucks, basically. Then I have Galaga Crawler on my list. This might confuse you guys, because it's Krip, don't we hate Pirate Warrior? This kills pirates, isn't that cool? Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess, but I understand that for Constructed. I think for Constructed it's an okay card. I don't think it's great. I think it's better to counter other decks that are problematic by either nerfing those decks or making real counters rather than so a pirate deck is number 1 right now. Let's just make a card that kills pirates. And it's a crab. And just do them for Murlocs, too. What's next? We have an elemental crab. We have, a dragon crab. We have, a mage card crab. Alright, we need to chill out with cards like these. And in Arena, it's much more problematic than that because, it doesn't happen all that often, but I think every couple of days, I literally lose a game because I play a pirate. It's I'm playing I don't know, let's just pretend playing a druid deck, and I have the 5/4 4-cost pirate. It doesn't do anything, but I had to get a 4-drop because it's Arena. And then I play that on turn 4, and then it gets Galaga Crawler. And then I'm playing druid, so I have no tempo play, so I just lost the game. I lost the game because I had to pick a card that just happened to be a pirate, and it got savagely countered by the crab. That's really stupid. And I've experienced too much of that, and I kind of understand that this is not fun. And speaking of Arena, I have Envenom Weapon. So if you're playing Constructed, you might not realize this card exists, but that's part of the problem. The problem is it's a card that does nothing for Constructed, but completely blows up Rogues in Arena. I mean, Rogues having this card is just absolutely insane. If you can kill like a 4-drop and then deny your opponent from playing a tempo 5-drop, that card is broken. You just won that game. Done. Right? Playing a weapon on curve on turn 2 with a rogue is standard. You actually don't need many 2-drops playing a rogue in Arena. So having this as the follow-up, your opponent coins like a 4-drop, it's done, dude. It's done. This card is absolutely crazy. Yes, it's a card you can have too many of, but if you have like a couple in a balanced rogue deck, it is literally going to carry you to high wins in Arena. Then I have Stonehill Defender. It's actually a cool card. I like playing with the card. I hate playing against the card. And I think both of those aspects are very important to evaluate when, you have the card design process and you think, is it good to do this? Is it bad to do this? Basically, like you play this, you get some taunts, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good, but you get taunts and you hold off. It's kind of like a control card. I like control cards. I like taunts. I like taunts that are good. I like control cards that are good. It's a taunt control card. It's pretty good. Makes sense, right? Yeah, but what ends up happening is there's some taunts that have like board clear effects. There's like legendary taunts, and in Arena, when you encounter like, a few of these and then suddenly your opponent has like 3 Tyrians on the board that weren't originally in his deck, it's pretty stupid, right? So I think there needs to be just some kind of additional requirements to some of the discover cards. Otherwise, it just goes off the deep. Like, okay, so if you could discover another taunt of like common rarity, that's actually pretty good, right? No board clear taunts, no legendary taunts, no game swinging anything. It was still a pretty good card. Certainly better than Silverback Patriarch. As if that's an achievement. Anyway, moving on, I have Crackling Razor Maw. Again, the card is like kind of fun to play and all that, but it creates some really lame gameplay where if the hunter goes first and he just has like a 1-drop beast and he has this as a follow-up, and you don't have any way to clear out his 1-drop beast while you're on 1 mana, you just kind of lose. And that's just really stupid. Any card that potentially ends the game on turn 1 or 2, in my opinion, shouldn't exist. Because the biggest RNG in the whole game is opening hand draw RNG. If those first few cards that you get, you're talking about, you just saw 10% of random cards out of your deck. If those can literally win the game by the second turn, that's really problematic. And this card certainly does that. It's a card that wins the game in the early game and encourages hunters to play 1-drops. Wow, as if they didn't have that incentive already. And I have the king of adapts, sadly. Vicious Fledgling. Oh, jeez, dude. Like, you play Arena and you look at your losses and like a third of your losses is this stupid-ass card getting played in the early game, and you can't remove it, and then you can never remove it. But the effect is just absolutely random, and the range is absolutely ridiculous. Like, your opponent can play this, and it can go like Wind Fury into Stealth, and then it could get like Health into Health. You're like, what am I doing, right? It's like a 3/9 on turn 4, and yeah, it's just done. It's literally done. This card is just absolutely busted. Sometimes it's terrible, but if you really look at who wins the games right now, this card wins the games far more often than it should, and it does so in a very non-interactive, very depressing fashion. And of course, number 1 on my most hated cards list, haven't talked about it yet, of course, Primordial Glyph. Man. So, I talked about it on stream a little bit. I compared Primordial Gift to Shadow Visions, which is, Shadow Visions doesn't have that huge random factor, but more importantly, it doesn't have the discount. So people are like, but Krip, if you make Shadow Visions cost 2, I'm not suggesting to make other cards as stupidly broken as Primordial Glyph. I'm just saying, like, why does Primordial Glyph give the discount? Like, it's one thing to create just random-ass spells and your opponent having like no strategy to play around that, or very, very little strategy to play around that. But when you discount the spell by 2, yes, it creates wacky, cool new combos, but, how can you ever play around a 5 mana Flame Strike, right? And there's many extensions to that. You just can't. You just get dunked, basically. And there's a few instances I've seen someone get 5 consecutive primordial glyphs. You know, if you get that with like the quests, like, yeah, it's like pretty cool and stuff, but like, give me a break, dude. This card really needs some attention because it is absolutely ridiculous. Cards that are on this high of a power level shouldn't have that high of a range of randomness. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that, and that's probably my main thoughts on Hearthstone as a whole. Let me know what you think. Let me know what saddens you when you play in Hearthstone, because I truly am curious. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.